Wait. Don't scroll just yet. Not because you're being forced to stay, but because something inside you already chose to pause here. And Archangel Michael says that pause was not random. It was noticed, it was felt, and it carries meaning. Because out of everything you could be doing right now, your attention settled here for a reason. And God is not asking you to believe anything blindly. He is simply asking you to notice what your spirit has been quietly trying to show you. Because lately something has been shifting inside you, something you may not have fully understood yet, but you felt it. That subtle change in your thoughts, that deeper weight in your emotions, that sense that something in your life is no longer the same as it once was. And Archangel Michael says, "Beloved, this is how change begins. Not loudly, not suddenly, but gently, within you first." And you may have tried to ignore it. You may have told yourself it's just a phase, just your mind overthinking, just another passing feeling, but it keeps returning, doesn't it? That same quiet awareness that refuses to fade, that same inner voice that does not demand your attention, but patiently waits for you to listen. And God says, He has seen every moment you felt this way, every time you paused without understanding why, every time your mind wandered back to the same thoughts, the same questions, the same feelings that you could not fully explain. And in those moments you may have felt alone, but you were not unseen, because awareness does not arrive without purpose. It comes when you are ready to see something differently. And Archangel Michael is not here to pressure you or to create fear. He is here to remind you that you are standing at a point in your life where things can begin to change in a real and meaningful way. Not instantly, not magically, but steadily. And the reason it feels heavy at times is because you are starting to outgrow things that once felt normal. You are beginning to see beyond what you used to accept. And that shift can feel uncomfortable, because familiarity often feels safe even when it no longer serves you. And you may have noticed how certain people no longer feel the same. How certain conversations leave you drained instead of fulfilled. How situations that once felt manageable now make you pause and question. And Archangel Michael says, this is not loss. This is clarity. Because clarity removes illusions. And when illusions begin to break, it creates a space that feels uncertain. But that space is necessary for something new to enter your life. And God is not taking things away from you to leave you empty. He is creating room for what truly aligns with who you are becoming. And you may not fully understand that yet. You may still feel caught between holding on and letting go. Between what is familiar and what is unknown. But that is exactly where transformation happens. In that in-between space where nothing feels completely certain, and yet something inside you keeps moving forward, quietly but consistently. And Archangel Michael says, "Beloved, you are not lost. You are in transition." And that word matters, because transition means movement. It means something is already changing even if you cannot see the full picture yet. And there is something else you are beginning to notice. The way your thoughts are evolving, the way you question things you once accepted without thinking, the way you are starting to recognize patterns in your life that you did not see before. And that is not confusion, that is awareness expanding. And when awareness expands, your choices begin to shift. And when your choices begin to shift, your life follows. Not immediately, but inevitably. And this is why this moment matters. Not because it is something external guiding you, but because it reflects something real that is already happening within you. Something that has been building over time. Something that is now strong enough to be acknowledged. And God is not asking you to have all the answers right now. He is not asking you to fix everything at once. He is only asking you to be honest with yourself about what you feel. About what no longer feels right. About what you know needs to change, even if you are unsure how to change it yet. Because honesty is where everything begins. And once you are honest, you can no longer pretend. And once you stop pretending, you begin to choose differently, even in small ways. And those small choices begin to create a new direction. And Archangel Michael says, there may also be something from your past that comes back into your awareness. Not necessarily to return into your life, but to be understood clearly this time. To be seen without confusion. To be released without regret. And when that happens, You must not rush. You must not react from your old emotions. Instead, you must pause and observe because you are not the same person you were before. And your response will determine whether that cycle ends or continues. And this is where your power lies, not in controlling everything around you, but in choosing how you respond. And you may also feel a quiet uncertainty about your future, a question of whether you are on the right path, whether you are moving in the right direction. And that feeling is natural because uncertainty is part of growth. But Archangel Michael says, "Beloved, your path is not something you find, it is something you create." And that means you are not stuck. You are not limited by what has already happened. You are constantly shaping what comes next through your awareness and your decisions. And God sees every effort you make, even when it feels small. Even when it feels like nothing is changing, because change is not always visible at first. Sometimes it is happening quietly within you, in the way you think, in the way you respond, in the way you see yourself. And those internal changes are building the foundation for everything that comes later. And this is why you must not rush yourself, because rushing often leads back to the same patterns you are trying to leave behind. Take your time, stay aware, stay honest, because something is shifting in your life. Not suddenly, not magically, but steadily. And that steady shift is more powerful than anything instant, because it lasts. And as you move forward from this moment, remember this. You are not here by accident. Not because something forced you, but because something inside you is ready to see things differently. And that readiness is the beginning of everything that follows. And now, stay present in this moment just a little longer, because Archangel Michael says, this is where your awareness begins to turn into understanding. And understanding slowly begins to turn into change. Not forced, not rushed, but natural. The kind of change that grows from within you rather than being pushed from the outside. And you may not even realize it fully yet, but something inside you has already started shifting. Something subtle but real. Something that is making you see your life from a slightly different perspective than before. And God says this shift did not begin today. It has been building over time through moments you barely noticed, through thoughts that stayed longer than usual, through feelings that returned again and again until they could no longer be ignored. And Archangel Michael says, "Beloved, what you are experiencing is not confusion, it is clarity forming. Because clarity does not always arrive as a sudden realization. Sometimes it comes quietly, piece by piece, until one day you realize you can no longer see things the way you used to. And that is exactly where you are now, at a point where your awareness is expanding beyond your provincial patterns, beyond your automatic responses, beyond the habits that once controlled your choices without you even realizing it. And this is important, because once awareness expands, you begin to notice patterns in your life that you were previously blind to. Patterns in relationships, patterns in your decisions, patterns in how certain situations always seem to lead to the same emotional outcome. And you have felt that before, haven't you? That sense of repetition, that feeling of, why does this keep happening to me? And Archangel Michael says, "Beloved, it was not happening to you. It was happening through patterns you had not yet seen. And now you are starting to see them. And that changes everything, because once you recognize a pattern, you are no longer controlled by it in the same way. But here is where things become challenging, because seeing the pattern is only the first step. The next step is choosing differently. And that is where discomfort appears, because your mind will try to pull you back into what feels familiar, even if that familiarity is what kept causing the same results. And this is where many people go back to their old ways, not because they want to suffer, but because the unknown feels uncertain, and uncertainty can feel uncomfortable. But Archangel Michael says, "Beloved, growth always feels unfamiliar before it feels right." And that means the discomfort you feel when trying to choose differently is not a sign that you are making the wrong choice. It is a sign that you are stepping outside of what no longer serves you. And this is where your awareness must guide you. Not your habits, not your fears, not your past experiences, but your present understanding of what is right for you. And God is not asking you to change everything at once. He is not expecting perfection. He is simply asking you to pause before you react, to observe before you decide, to ask yourself one simple question. Is this choice aligned with who I am becoming, or is it repeating who I used to be? And that question alone has the power to change the direction of your life, because your life is shaped not by one big decision, but by many small ones, repeated over time. And as you begin to choose differently, even in small ways, you will start to notice subtle changes in your experiences, in how situations unfold, in how people respond to you, and especially in how you feel within yourself. And there is something else Archangel Michael wants you to be aware of, something that may happen soon, not as a coincidence, but as a reflection of your growth. Someone or something from your past may reappear, not necessarily to stay, but to test your awareness, to see if you will respond from your old self or your present self. And when that moment comes, it may feel confusing at first. It may bring back familiar emotions, familiar thoughts, even a sense of, what if this time is different? But this is where your clarity matters, because this is not about them changing. It is about you recognizing whether you have changed. And Michael says, "Beloved, do not be pulled back by familiarity when you have already moved forward in understanding, because sometimes the past returns not to reconnect, but to confirm that you are ready to let it go." And this is where your response will close a cycle that has repeated for too long. And as you continue on this path, you may also notice changes in your energy, in what you tolerate, in what you are willing to accept, in how you spend your time and attention. And this shift may create distance between you and certain people or situations, not because there is conflict, but because there is no longer alignment. And that can feel strange at first, even uncomfortable, because you are used to things being a certain way. But Archangel Michael says, "Beloved, not everything that leaves your life is a loss. Some things are simply no longer meant to continue. And God is not removing things to hurt you. He is allowing space for something better suited to who you are becoming." And this is why patience becomes important, because real change does not happen instantly. It unfolds gradually, step by step, as you continue to choose with awareness. And there may still be moments of doubt, moments where you question whether you are doing the right thing, whether you are moving in the right direction. But doubt is not a sign of failure. It is a natural part of growth. And what matters is not whether doubt appears, but how you respond to it, whether you let it pull you back, or whether you continue moving forward with awareness. And God says, you are learning to trust yourself again, not blindly, not without thought, but through experience, through observation, through understanding what feels right for you and what does not. And that trust will grow stronger with every choice you make that aligns with your true self. And this is how your life begins to shift in a real and lasting way. Not through sudden miracles, but through consistent awareness. And as you move forward, remember this: you are not behind. You are not lost. You are not missing anything. You are exactly at the stage where understanding is turning into action, and action is beginning to shape a new direction for your life. And that direction may not be fully visible yet, but it is already forming. One choice at a time, one moment of awareness at a time. And that is more powerful than anything instant, because it creates something real, something stable, something that truly belongs to you. And now, this is the moment where everything you have felt, everything you have noticed, everything that has been quietly building inside you begins to settle into something clearer, something more grounded, something you can finally understand without forcing it, because Archangel Michael says, "Beloved, you are no longer searching in the same way. You are beginning to recognize." And that recognition changes everything, because before this, you were trying to figure things out, trying to understand why certain things were happening, why certain patterns kept repeating, why certain feelings would not leave you alone. But now you are starting to see the connection between your awareness and your choices, between your choices and your direction. And that is where your real power begins. Not in controlling everything around you, but in understanding yourself enough to choose differently. And God is not asking you to become perfect, not asking you to remove every doubt or fear overnight. He is simply asking you to trust what you already know deep inside, because the truth is, you already feel it. You already know what no longer aligns with you. You already know what needs to change. And the only thing that has been standing between you and that change is hesitation. That quiet voice that makes you wait, that makes you second guess, that makes you stay in situations longer than you should. But Archangel Michael says, this is the moment where hesitation must turn into clarity. Not rushed decisions, not emotional reactions, but calm, aware choices that come from understanding rather than impulse. And as you begin to move forward from this point, you will start to notice something different. Not dramatic, not overwhelming, but steady. The way you respond to situations with more control. The way you choose silence instead of unnecessary arguments. The way you step back instead of chasing what does not feel right. And these small shifts will begin to create space in your life. Space that once felt filled with noise, confusion, or emotional weight. And at first, that space may feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable, because you are used to things being a certain way. But God says, that space is not emptiness, it is preparation. Because without space, nothing new can enter, nothing better can take root. And Archangel Michael says, beloved, do not rush to fill that space with what you have already outgrown. Because this is the moment where patience becomes part of your growth, where you allow things to come naturally instead of forcing them. And there is something else you will begin to notice as you continue, a shift in how you see people. Not because they have changed, but because your awareness has. You will begin to understand who truly aligns with you and who does not. Not through judgment, not through negativity, but through clarity, and that clarity will guide your actions. It will guide your conversations. It will guide the boundaries you choose to set. And those boundaries will not come from anger. They will come from understanding, from respect for your own energy, your own time, your own direction. And this is how your life begins to feel different in a real way, not because everything around you suddenly becomes perfect, but because your relationship with everything changes, and that internal shift will slowly reflect in your external world. In the opportunities you notice, in the decisions you make, in the kind of situations you allow into your life. And you may also begin to feel something within yourself that you did not feel as strongly before. A quiet confidence, not loud, not forced, but steady. A sense that you can trust your own judgment more than before. That you do not need constant validation from others to know what is right for you. And that confidence will grow with every small decision you make that aligns with your true self. And God says, you are learning to stand in your own understanding. And that is one of the most important changes you can experience. Because once you trust yourself, you stop depending on external approval to guide your life. And this is where your future begins to take shape in a meaningful way. Not through sudden miracles or unexpected events, but through the direction of your consistent choices, and opportunities will come. Some expected, some not. And not all of them will be right for you. But the difference now is that you will recognize that. You will feel it. You will know when something aligns and when it does not. And you will have the clarity to choose accordingly without the same confusion or hesitation as before. And this is growth. This is progress. And as this continues, you will begin to feel more stable within yourself, even if your external situation is still evolving. Because stability does not come from everything being perfect. It comes from knowing how to handle whatever comes your way. And God says, you are becoming that person, step by step, moment by moment. And this is why everything you have experienced was not meaningless. Even the difficult parts, even the moments that felt like setbacks, because they contributed to your understanding, to your awareness, to your ability to see things clearly now. And who you are becoming is someone who does not repeat the same patterns unconsciously. Someone who chooses with awareness. Someone who moves forward with intention rather than habit. And that is the foundation of a life that actually feels right. Not just looks right from the outside. And now, as this moment comes to its natural close, there is nothing urgent you need to do. No sudden action required. No pressure to change everything instantly. Just awareness. Just a quiet decision to move forward with more clarity than before. And Archangel Michael says, beloved, you have not missed your moment. You are standing in it. And that is the truth you carry forward. Not fear, not urgency, but understanding, because your life is not something that happens to you. It is something that unfolds through the choices you make, and now your choices are becoming more aware, more intentional, more aligned with who you truly are. And that is where real change begins. So slowly, steadily, and in a way that lasts. And as you leave this moment, take a breath, not because something mystical has ended, but because something real has begun within you. Something that will continue to grow as long as you stay aware, stay honest, and keep choosing what feels right for you, one step at a time.